Good morning. Today is the 12th day of Nisan, the 10th of April, the day before Pesach, which means this year, the day before the day. And this year, this is Tainis Bechoros. You're a Bechor also, no?
I am, except that I have an older brother than me who also claims the title.
So who won? He did.
He won.
Okay.
As he was born first, I let him be the Bechor.
Okay, that's very nice of you. Very big of you. Anyway, so I don't think you were here yesterday. So today I will come in the afternoon in the end because I have a mission to perform.
What's that?
Buy a chicken. Anyway, okay.
Is that the Shem of it? That should be
Yeah. Vayotzienu Hashem Elokeinu. Page Ayin Tet, Korban Pesach and Derech Mitzvosecha from the Tzemach Tzedek. So yesterday was a very, very important 15 minutes where we sort of explained the whole gist of the Torah also. The Torah tells of two periods, the period of the patriarchs and the period of Moshe Rabbeinu. And the difference between them is what we just read yesterday. You hear, Yaakov? The difference is that in the time of the patriarchs, of the Avos, they served Hashem out of bittul, out of nullification.
We did that.
Right. But in the time of Moshe Rabbeinu, we serve Hashem because of the commandments. The Avos didn't have commandments, they did it out of bittul, so they ended up doing much of the same, but it wasn't with a feeling of being commanded. And we said that Mitzrayim, being in Egypt, was the transition between these two periods. Okay. So we said, what does it mean that Hashem, our God, took us out? Here we're quoting from the Agada, beginning of the Agada. Abba ve'ima shelbishu lezro'ot da'ari chanpin. So there's a very important thing that happens in the Keter, in the crown, that his Abba ve'ima, we talked until now about the partzuf called arich. Arich is the will. And we talked a lot about the wisdom in the will. We said the wisdom inside the will, which we call the concealed wisdom, is what differentiates. It's what differentiates between what's wanted and what's not wanted in the world. So we said that even though wisdom is usually on the right side, in arich it doesn't play that role. It plays a role of judgment, because it judges between what Hashem wants and what He doesn't want. So it's like a differentiation within the will. But the Keter also has Abba ve'ima. It also has a father and mother in it. There's always all the partzufim within each place, within each world. So here in this world of the Keter, this world of the crown, a little bit of a misnomer, but it's the best way to grasp it. So we also have Abba ve'ima. We also have wisdom and understanding that are separate from the Arich. They're not within Arich. They're separate. They're the Chochmah and Bina of Arich. Sorry, I didn't say it right. The Chochmah and Bina of the Keter itself. So what is that going to look like? So there's no more room, because we said that in the beginning, the Bina, we didn't discuss this enough, but it's pushed down into the neck, into the throat. But afterwards, it goes out into the two arms. That's the description. Then in the Keter, the crown, the Abba and Ima are in the two arms, the left and right arm. Meaning that Hashem's will began to be revealed. And how was it revealed? Through the two arms. And that's what we say, that Hashem took us out with a strong arm and with an outstretched arm. The strong arm is obviously Yad Chazakah, is the left side, the Bina, and Yizra Netuya, and the outstretched arm is the wisdom, is the Abba. והיינו שנתפשט וירד מן עצמות בעל הרצון, שיהיה הרצון מתלבש בחוכמה ויתנהג על ידיו, ויהיה זרועותיו מתלבשים בחוכמה ובינה, שיהיו בו חסידים וגבורות ימין ושמאל לקרב או לרחק. So really he says this, in a sense, this is still an extension of the will. It's still the crown, it's still the will, but now it's to actually manifest his will. So now he needs two arms, and his two arms are what one side draws closer and one side pushes away. So within the will we have the same thing, the same type of action that we later attribute to Chesed and Gvura. He says it's the same thing. שיהיו בו חסדים וגבורות ימין ושמאל לקרב או לרחק כפי הראוי, על פי החוכמה ובינה. ואז, but the difference here is that it's entirely according to wisdom and understanding. It's not according to the way chesed and gvura are. Chesed and gvura is according to love and might, or according to someone that you want to bring close, but it's not about the will, it's about the affinity, that you have an affinity to, and something that you want to reject. In the crown, it's not about how you feel. It's not an emotion. It's about how does this play out? How does this thing I want to either bring closer or reject? How does it work in the grand plan of things? It's not a localized emotion. It's something much, much wider. ואז ויוצאנו ממצרים כי על פי החוכמה אין ראוי להגיע חיות כל כך לפרעה. האומר לי אורי כי אם לישראל. Because now he rejects Paro. And how does he do it? Because in his grand scheme of things, like we said, he's just a scaffold. Paro is not really the intent. So now the placenta has to fall apart. So he rejects it. And also because he's not just because in the grand scheme of things he doesn't play a larger role, but also because he says liori, because he has a tremendous ego. He says I created myself, and that also can't remain in the world. And this he has to give way for the Jewish people, for Israel, who are those who are close to him, to Hashem's plan. They receive the Torah. What's the Torah? Pnimiyut retzono, the inner will of Hashem. And we said that the difference between the inner will and the outer will, right, is that within the inner will, the wisdom already acts. That there is already this I want and this I don't want. But in the external will, it's like the circles. We said it's like the makif. There's no differentiation. Everybody can receive equally. So the external will, you look at the world, you see the external will of Hashem. Looks like everything is equal. Everything is sustained to the same degree. Nothing is thrown to the side because, right? This the joke of if you do a malacha, if you do something forbidden on Shabbos, you don't get lightning striking you, but because the external will doesn't see that, it doesn't play in that way. It comes to sustain everything. So everything is sustained equally. For lightning to strike you, there has to be a very, very good reason. It's not a reason that you went against Hashem's will. There's something different. Like for instance, go out in the storm and take a kite and put a key on it. That'll work. That'll probably work. You'll draw some lightning. But there's no. The nature is the external will of Hashem. It's not the Torah. It's something entirely different. ובזאת יש גם כן תועלת להתבשות הרצון בחוכמה שמונע יניקת החיצונים. And there's another thing that happens is that when the will is now in the right arm, so it also prevents, because the right arm is giving, it's drawing closer, so it's also preventing the klipa, the external part of the unnecessary, the scaffolding to suckle from the source. ועוד זאת, שאז הגם שהוא בדרך צמצום יותר, משהיה למעלה מן השכל בתחילה, עם כל זה הנה בחוכמה תאיר אתה בחינת הפנימיות שברצון. הוא בחינת חפץ העליון הנקרא עתיק יומין. So he says we added something more. Once you go down, the further you go down, there's more tzimtzum. Right? Tzimtzum, we mean that there's more discretion, and because there's more discretion about who to give to, there's also less to give. It's not the same thing, meaning when somebody is in a state of mind of giving without cheshbon, without any kind of discretion, he just gives. So he doesn't count how much money he's going to give out. He just says, bring it all out. And he throws it, and everything's there, everything can be given. So when you're talking about it's very interesting that sustaining the world externally, there's like infinite amount of energy that's constantly expended. Constantly. And anyone can take from it. But when you're talking about the inner will, and now the chokhmah in the will, the wisdom of it is discerning and it has discretion about who it wants to give to and who it won't give to, necessarily it comes with a concentration and a lessening of the amount. Meaning it's more concentrated because when you're just being sustained So there's nothing personal about it. When you're receiving what Hashem wants, meaning you're who Hashem wants to give to, you're receiving directly from His hand. It's something completely different. So even though it's a small quantity, it's worth a lot more. The feeling is that it's concentrated. There's concentrated giving here. It's not just like when you're giving. I can't think of a good example. Maybe it's something like when you're watering your garden, so you can put it on an automatic system that just has this sprinkler, and just without any discretion just puts water everywhere. Or you can go with either a handheld, what do you call this? Pipe and a hose pipe, a hose, and the thing at the end. What's it called? The thing at the end of the hose. And so you're doing things exactly, and it's much closer to the plant. Or you can even go more than that, which is you can water them with the Israeli system that just gives drops, and the holes in the piping are exactly aligned with the plant, and then you get drop by drop. But each drop is like something very personal. It's much smaller, but it actually works better. That's the strange thing. If you sprinkle without any discretion, the plants grow not as well as when you give them drop by drop, because something in the drops is more concentrated. Again, it defies like a scientific, I think, mindset. Although some would say the plant doesn't need so much water, and so when you douse it with too much water, you're making it work too hard to take all the water in.
Do we make a hemshik over to Hashem's intention?
Mm-hmm.
So is the intention? It may look to us like somebody's getting a lot of water, but it could be very dangerous.
Right. There's a pasuk in Proverbs that Osher Hashamur leBaalav lera'ato, the wealth that is given. In the end, it's given. It's like safeguarded for its owner, for its detriment.
For whose detriment?
The owner's detriment.
Uh-huh.
That Hashem is keeping a lot, giving it to him, and He knows that this is. And there's another thing also. Even between people, there's such a thing. That imra'ev sonacha achileu. If your enemy is hungry, feed him. Ki gechalim ata choter al rosho, because you're placing burning coals on his head. Because there it's a little bit different, but it's in principle it's the same idea, that I'm giving without discretion, and that when there's no discretion is actually
there
not
is discretion, but it's
the opposite here. It's almost like
it's discretion, but it's pinpointed
right.
for good or for bad.
Right.
Oh, so there is discretion.
There's less discretion because I didn't want to give him. He's my enemy.
Oh,
so I'm getting over my discretion.
Okay, I understand.
By getting over my discretion, I'm canceling the discretion.
Yeah.
And so it's like Hashem giving tremendous sustenance to someone who doesn't deserve it. And that leads to din on him. It leads to judgment on him. In any case, so this always goes together. That the more discretion, the more concentrated, and the less there is. It goes together. These two things. עם כל זה, שאז הגם שהוא בדרך צמצום יותר משהיה למעלה מן השכל בתחילה. So before there was the wisdom, there was no discretion, so there was a lot more. Now there's less. Still, עם כל זה, נהיה בחוכמה תאיר את הבחינת הפנימיות שברצון ובחינת חפץ העליון נקרא תיקומין. But the thing that we gain is that concentrated also means that something higher can now reveal itself. What's revealing itself? Now the pleasure, atikyomin. The higher partzuf of the crown can now come out. What he's saying is that without wisdom, the pleasure doesn't come out. Meaning Hashem's pleasure in the world, it doesn't appear. The external will does not contain the pleasure. And this is where we'll end, and God willing, continue next week. Unless we want to tomorrow. I'm fine tomorrow, but...
Tomorrow's normal.
Yeah, tomorrow's a regular day. as far as I'm concerned.
Every day is special.
Yeah, it's normally special. I was going to say that, but right. I was going to say that until I thought of the drip system, because there you don't talk to them, but they still grow better.